The watch market bubble is over, it's done, and it's not coming back. Well, I don't think it's coming back, at least. Every few months I do a watches and money style of video, which is a genre I always feel conflicted about. On the one hand, your watch's monetary value and secondary value is hands down the least interesting thing about it. But on the other hand, money is a very real obstacle in buying watches. They cost a lot of money. These are really meaningful and dear objects, so we shouldn't be shy in talking about the financial side of things. Now, as you all probably know, I have complicated feelings on the secondary market. I personally won't pay over retail for a watch. It's just one of those things I'm weirdly cheap about, and if I can't get it at or below retail, I can do without. These are, after all, luxury items. It's not essential necessity items like insulin or food or other essential things. This is first world stuff. This also isn't to say I would never buy secondary. I would. I personally just won't spend over retail on a watch that someone else has been scratching up for years, or even worse, flipped immediately to make a profit. But I do completely understand why people spend over retail. If there's a watch you freaking love, it would mean so much for you to own, and you have the money, I totally get it. Buy it. Don't let me and my sour grapes get in the way of you buying a watch that you love. In recent years, I've had 3 large problems with the inflated secondary market and hype watches in general. Number 1, how astronomical some of the prices became on specific hype watches, namely the Patek Philippe 5711, the Aquanaut, the AP Royal Oak. Honestly, almost every Rolex got crazy, but namely the stainless steel Daytona, GMT Master 2, and the green Submariners. Number 2, the flippers that emerged from this gold rush. And number 3, the watch buyers, aka people like us, who were tricked into buying ludicrously priced watches on the premise that these will never go down. This is a fantastic asset. If you don't buy it now, you're a fool. These are only going to go up and up and up, and you'll be buying it more the next year unless you buy it from me now at this price. You're a dummy if you're not buying these right now. But now we're on the other side of this, and 5711s aren't selling for more than £100,000 anymore despite being discontinued. John Mayer Daytonas aren't north of £100,000 anymore. And I truly believe that speculative bubble is never coming back. Thank God. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the state of the secondary watch market and specific hype models. In this video, it isn't my goal to tell you to buy or sell your watches. It's just to provide a little bit more information. I don't want to predict where things will go from here, but I know myself well enough to know I won't be able to help myself. I will give some of my own opinions and my own thoughts on where things might go, but please know those are just my opinions. Those are just my thoughts. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't have more information on what will happen in the future. It really is just my opinions. Let's start with the Patek Philippe Nautilus 5711. This is the watch I really wanted to start the video with because I can't believe how far these have fallen. Now, I'm not going to say it isn't massively inflated still, because it is. But I just remember these being north of £100,000 and thinking it would never go below that price again. Especially with Patek discontinuing the 5711 and no longer being available in stainless steel. So, according to Subdial Marketplace, these are now trading for about £77,000, and according to Watch Charts, £72,000 for the Blue Dial variation. Now, once again, this is an insane price for a stainless steel watch that used to retail for £27,000. But if you were to purchase at the height of the bubble in March 2022, these were going for £140,000 on the secondary market. Oh! For an uncomplicated stainless steel watch. That worth and value just is not there for me. So it has nearly halved in value since its all-time peak price. My personal opinion, we're still going to see these go down, but they won't ever be aligned with their former retail price. I could see them getting as low as £60,000 in this next year, but that's just an opinion. If you love this watch, it's really tough times as it is discontinued and such a beloved model, it'll always be quite dear. Next watch, the Patek Philippe Aquanaut 5167. So the Aquanaut is kind of an odd duck in the Patek catalog. It is the other sports watch for the brand. My husband has the rose gold variation. He freaking loves it. But a lot of people don't like this watch. For the stainless steel variation, these were trading for £75,000 on the secondary market during the all-time peak, which is freaking insane considering they retail for £19,500, which, in my humble opinion, is still quite expensive for what it is. Nowadays, it's come way down to £40,500 secondary, but personal opinion, I still wouldn't pay that. Back in 2019, these were being sold secondary at their most expensive for £30,000. And my husband and I saw these for sale in London for $25,000-ish. And I could see these coming as low as that again, which is still kind of overpriced for an uncomplicated stainless steel watch on a rubber strap. If you like the precious metal, these have come down a lot secondary, but once again, I still think they have further to fall, and with precious metal, there's always a higher chance of getting it at retail. My husband's first Patek was his rose gold Aquanaut, although we already had a good established relationship with our Patek AD, so that didn't hurt. But precious metal is far more achievable at retail, which doesn't bode well for the secondary market. Next, let's talk Audemars Piguet. And AP has probably had the craziest rise and fall, and I don't think she's in for a soft landing at all. So the first model, and my personal favorite, the Royal Oak Jumbo Ultra Thin 15202 ST. At its height in March 2022, these were £105,000 on the secondary market, and these are now trading hands for about £50,000. So it has halved after a couple of years. But still, these retail for £31,300, so £20,000 profit margin for our delightful flipper friends. I don't think the Jumbo will ever go down below retail or even hover around retail prices. These are pretty desirable and hard to get. But some of the more traditional Royal Oaks are really coming down. Looking at the 37mm, the silver white dial right now can be bought secondary in the £25,000 neighborhood, which is barely above retail. And I'm sure people would accept an offer at or pretty dang close to retail. The blue dial is still commanding the most money, with people pricing it around £32,000 to £37,000. But I'd be surprised if people are actually paying as high as that. Just my opinion, I think these will be marginally above retail in the very near future. If you do like this one, I'd recommend holding out just that wee bit longer. But hey, if you have the money now and the worth and value align, don't listen to me. Do whatever you like with your hard-earned money. For the Itty Bitty Risk Committee, the 34mm Royal Oaks can be bought around or below retail, and I would not recommend paying above for one. AP particularly upsets me because I think a lot of people were duped into buying APs, offshores, jumbos, chronographs that they really couldn't afford, on the promise that these wouldn't stop increasing in value. And man, AP secondary prices are struggling, which means either 1, they're easier to get at retail now, or 2, people just aren't as interested in them. And I think it's a combination of the two. I still love the Royal Oak. I really hope I can own one day, but it would be at or below retail for me. Okay, let's talk about the Rolex Daytona now. The Daytona is another one of those models that we think is impossible to buy, but that is only really true with the stainless steel models. If you're after a precious metal, I'd highly recommend popping down the authorized dealer, and some deals can even be had going secondary. For example, the two-tone Daytona, these retail for £17,300, and people are trying for about £20,000 on Chrono24, but I really think you could offer retail or below and get one of these. It won't be long before you can get these relatively easily from the authorized dealer, which means they will probably be advertised below retail on these secondary websites. I think we've seen the peak of stainless steel, thank God, but as long as these remain hard to get and the interest is still there, they will be above retail. Right now, the black dial retails for £13,200 and seems to be advertised around £23,000 to £24,000 on the secondary market, which is still way too high. I have a friend who recently bought one from the secondary market at £17,000, so that is something to keep in mind when you see the advertised price versus what people are actually paying. I say this as someone with the black dial Daytona. I freaking love it. And right now the retail price is even steep for what it is. Okay, the last brand I want to talk about is Omega, because I saw something recently at the authorized dealer that made me think maybe things are going back to the way they were pre-pandemic. I saw some pretty desirable Omega watches on sale, discounted. I don't remember the last time I saw an Omega having a discount. I wish I had taken a photo or a video of it. I'll go through my camera roll and see if I did, but I don't think I did. But there was a few watches on sale, and it was a 41mm blue dial Aquaterra that particularly caught my eye. It was sadly too large for me in the end, but I immediately went to go check the Chrono 24 prices just out of curiosity, and you couldn't buy that model cheaper in the secondary market in new or unworn condition than you could from the authorized dealer. That's a real signifier to me that authorized dealers need to get some Omega product moving, and they're even willing to visibly discount it. You didn't even need to have that cheeky ask. But if you're wanting to buy an Omega new, I would still try on the cheeky ask, even if it's not on sale. Anyways, that's just a little hype watch market update. I see a lot of Rolex videos, and I've contributed a lot of Rolex videos into the ether. But man, the whole secondary market seems to be down, and I think it's only going to go lower. Just my personal opinion though, it's okay if you disagree. I've also just realized I've spent so long rambling about watch prices, I didn't explain why I thought the bubble was never coming back, which was supposed to be half the video. Yeah. If that's something you'd like to talk about, comment it down below, or if I shouldn't waste my time. Do all that YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and let's thank the fabulous gorgeous. Never done anything wrong in their lives ever. Pope to your patrons. Ooh, sorry I had to make a money video. Ooh, I know not everyone likes them, so that's why I'm singing to you, patrons. I'm sorry, I love you, I love all tier patrons, but special shout out to the Pope tier patrons.